Waffles?
Can I take your order?
Yes.
A question that's sometimes easier asked than answered. So let's take a look at things you should never order at Waffle House.
No.
Triple chocolate pie.
Double and a single in one. Triple.
Waffle House was originally a humble 13-seat diner founded in Georgia in 1955 and is still headquartered in the Peach State today. And while no one expects a healthy home-style meal from a 24-hour breakfast joint, some of Waffle House's items will have a wacky effect on your waistline. Look no further than the dessert menu, where that sticky sweet waffle syrup isn't the only sugary treat. There's no better feeling than following your savory meal with a sweet dessert, but one of those desserts is a worse offender than the rest. The triple chocolate pie packs an unhealthy wallop with an eye-popping 880 total calories.
Oh my God, I'm a fat guy!
That calorie count is one of the highest in the whole restaurant, raking in more calories than any of the sandwiches or Texas melts at Waffle House, higher than all but one of the Angus beef burgers, and all but 4 items on the entire breakfast menu. Of the entrees, only the pork chop dinner and meat lovers pork chop dinner have a higher calorie count than this delectable dessert that comes right after them. You can cut the numbers of the triple chocolate pie in half by ordering a small slice instead of the regular slice, but it's hard to rob yourself of all that chocolatey goodness.
Some chocolate? Gimme yum yum!
Southern Pecan Pie.
But I would be proud
to partake of your pecan pie.
Hold off on settling for a smaller slice of the triple chocolate because there's another option that has a less outrageous calorie count even with a full-size slab. The simplified ingredients of pecan halves and a naturally sweetened pie filling of a regular slice of Waffle House Southern Pecan Pie checks in with fewer calories than its chocotastic counterpart at 520. The official Waffle House website remarks that both their pie varieties are based on the spirit of Aunt Maggie, who purportedly baked the very first ever Waffle House pie during the opening of its first location.
My aunt is dead.
Aunt Maggie was a chain-smoking, wisecracking employee who ran the commissary of the original Waffle House, where she handmade everything right down to the mayo and delegated the supply of everything from potatoes to baking flour. Nobody wants to disappoint their aunt, so it'll take some soul-searching before we can decide to skip out on either one of Maggie's classic pies.
I'm so hungry I'll eat anything right now.
Pork chop dinners.
Pass the pork chops.
When you think of Southern comfort food, you probably expect to see some pork on your fork. The history of pork as a Southern tradition is tied to the pre-Civil War era when pigs became a common, convenient food supply. The pork was popular enough and plentiful enough that Southerners ate more pork than beef in those days, averaging 5 pounds of pig to every single pound of beef. Fast forward to modern times, and Waffle House keeps the tradition alive on the classic dinners portion of the menu. Although we wouldn't recommend eating as much of this particular pork as the folks back in the day did.
Change my diet. Makes a big difference.
One 5-ounce pork chop from Waffle House packs 290 calories itself, but it's the combination of the whole dinner that makes it one to avoid. The full serving passes the 1,000-calorie mark, and nearly half of those calories alone are strictly fat. The available options for sides include toast, as well as a choice of grits, sliced tomatoes, or those famous Waffle House hash browns. And if you have a hankering for another hammy helping, you can upsize to the meat lovers pork chop dinner that'll add 300 more calories and 500 milligrams more of total sodium. Maybe next time, hold off on this heaping helping of hog.
Hey, quit touching the pig.
First time here? Well, we would wrestle an alligator for you to hit that subscribe button. Okay, maybe not an alligator, but a hamster for sure. So go ahead and smash it. Thanks.
Thank you. You love me.
Country ham dinner.
A canoe made of country ham? You know I'll eat it.
Waffle House's ham isn't off the hook yet because this is another pork dish to point the finger at. There's an Aesop's Fable story about a city mouse and a country mouse, but at Waffle House they swap the mouse idea out entirely when it comes to dinner time. The ham dinner is available in either a country ham or city ham variety, and each one brings its own style to supper. Evaporation levels during the dry curing stages make city hams more moist and more subtle on flavor. City ham is boneless, as opposed to the bone-in country style that has a saltier and more pronounced taste. but no matter which ham you choose, it'll be hard on your health.
Just spit it out.
The City Ham dinner features a 3-ounce ham slice, but it's the larger 5-ounce Country Ham dinner that is the cholesterol culprit of this dynamic duo. If you order the Country Ham with a biscuit side and a large order of hash browns, you'll be busting out your calculator app to track the nearly 3,000 milligrams of sodium, 95 milligrams of cholesterol, and 850 calories. Whether you live in the country or the city, just make sure you get your steps in after this one.
Hey, that's a lot of steps.
Meat lovers, pork chops, and eggs.
Eggs, meat, anything you want.
They say breakfast is the most important meal of the day, but in this case, you might want to move it to the back of the line. Just like the Meat Lover's pork chop dinner, the Meat Lover's breakfast is a doubled-up version, except it'll be even harder on your heart than the one you have for supper.
It's a risk I'll have to take.
It has nearly 2 times the calories of the Country Ham breakfast, packing just over 1,200. That number more than doubles the calories of any other egg breakfast on the Waffle House menu, except for the T-bone steak and eggs breakfast. We know a morning smoothie would be a better decision for our heart health, but we also know it just wouldn't taste as good as this mountain of meat.
Looks like meat's back on the menu.
Double Angus quarter-pound cheeseburger deluxe.
That is a long first name and a long last name.
Americans love hamburgers to the tune of 50 billion burgers being sold every single year across the country. If you're grabbing lunch at Waffle House, though, this next entry will be more than enough. The menu provides a good variety of lunch options, including sandwiches, Texas melts, and a selection of 100% Angus beef hamburgers. And the humongous hero of the hamburger set is the Double Angus beef quarter-pound hamburger. It stacks a pair of 4-ounce Angus patties onto a grilled bun with lettuce, tomato, and fried onions, and comes with hash browns instead of the classic French fries. However, this heavy helping comes at a price carrying 890 calories.
Oh, right, because calories.
That's just over 1.5 times the calorie count of a Big Mac you could grab from the neighboring drive-thru, and it outpaces the rest of the Waffle House lunch options, too. It's got more than 3 times the cholesterol of the original Angus cheeseburger and 2.5 times the cholesterol of the Angus quarter-pound hamburger deluxe. Altogether, it's got more cholesterol than any of Waffle House's burgers, sandwiches, or Texas melts that they sell. We know the saying, go big or go home, and in this case, maybe going home for lunch is the best idea.
The killer ordered the food!
Texas sausage, egg, and cheese melt.
Melts in my mouth and in my hands.
If you're the type that would rather go big than go home, then the saying, everything's bigger in Texas, will come in handy here. While the Waffle House selection of Texas melts will lick your lunchtime hunger, the all-day breakfast joint also offers a selection of breakfast Texas melts on its breakfast sandwiches menu. Some of the offerings are pretty standard morning munchies, like the egg and cheese sandwich and the ham and egg sandwich. And the Texas melts are a cut above by grilling the sandwiches and adding melted cheese. Leading this Texas-sized sandwich stampede is the Texas sausage, egg, and cheese melt. And it doesn't shy away from treating your arteries to a rough-riding rodeo.
I can't get shy to eat anything.
This melt tips the scales with a total 850 calories, which is the most of all the breakfast handhelds. Its cholesterol count is more than any of the sandwiches or melts found on the lunch menu or the breakfast menu, and we won't even mention the sodium in this bad boy. With better options out there, maybe find another option instead of tackling this toasty Texas treat.
Just pick something off this list.
Texas Angus Patty Melt.
I better go. Angus waits.
Since the breakfast versions of the Texas Melt include eggs, we can be forgiven for thinking the lunch versions of the Texas Melt might be a little healthier, especially on the cholesterol side. However, it turns out there's not much relief from the order no matter what time of day it is. The 3 lunch varieties are the Philly cheesesteak-inspired Texas cheesesteak melt, the Texas grilled chicken melt, and the bad guy in the black hat of this cowboy bunch, the Texas Angus Patty Melt. It has the most fat, saturated fat, and trans fat of the 3 and leads the charge in calories at a count of 730.
That's my commentary. I'm anti-fat.
There isn't much relief in the other 2 since both of them pack at least 650 calories. And while all three have a high sodium count, the grilled chicken melt has the most at 2,040 milligrams, and it has the most cholesterol. At this rate, it might be healthier to melt in the Texas heat than tangle with any of the Texas melts.
Wordplay.
Waffles.
It's waffle time. Won't you have some waffles of mine?
Not the waffles. Say it ain't so. The wafting scent of waffles is a weekend tradition for many Americans. But thanks to the opening hours at Waffle House, they're available whenever the craving for waffles strikes. But believe it or not, the signature namesake menu item of Waffle House has made the no-no list. At first glance, you might assume that the sugary, sweet toppings might be to blame for this, but it's the waffles themselves that are even more wicked.
Please welcome the wickedly talented one and only.
A single trademark Waffle House waffle packs just over 400 calories to itself. That's more calories per waffle than a grilled biscuit, large hash browns, or ham, egg, and cheese breakfast sandwich all have. Available toppings like the traditional butter and syrup don't help the health cause either. Toppers like chocolate chips and peanut butter chips just add to the sugar count. Even the pecans, the seemingly healthiest sounding topper of the bunch, have double the amount of fat of the other two, and more fat calories than its peanut butter counterpart. As wonderful as these waffles are, moderation should be key. Or just forget about everything you heard and load them up.
He's eating. Teddy, stop eating.
Honorable mention, coffee.
Her coffee mug, right in the place of honor.
Before we reach the end of our list, go ahead and hit that like button as we look at an item you should never order at Waffle House that didn't quite qualify. A good old-fashioned cup of joe. While it isn't exactly a cup of sludge, in the age of on-demand baristas, specialty-made espressos, and high-quality caffeine of all varieties, the coffee at Waffle House gets left in the dust.
Your coffee sucks, believe me, I know.
The company sources Arabica beans from South and Central America, which are then distributed by Royal Cup Coffee in Birmingham, Alabama. But by the time it gets to your mug, not much has changed. It's a classic bare-bones roadside diner brew, and there's only so much sugar and cream can do to jazz it up. It'll keep you awake, but it might bore your taste buds. 146 billion cups of coffee are consumed in the USA every year, so you've got plenty of options to get a much better cup at a reasonable price.
If your job is making coffee, make coffee.
Grits. As the famous 1970s sitcom waitress Flo once said,
Kiss my grit!
This next item is one of the staples of any Southern breakfast and is ranked right up there with biscuits and bacon. Except at Waffle House, their grits seem to suffer the same boring fate as the restaurant's coffee. Not awful, but not worth writing home about.
You should save your money.
A 2021 survey of almost 600 Waffle House patrons reported that the grits were the most disliked item on the menu at 35% of the total vote. They came out a full 11 points ahead of second-place City Ham to claim the undisputed top spot. As a side dish, you have the option to go with sliced tomatoes or hash browns instead of grits, making this one item that's easier than the rest to never order at Waffle House.
Should we just close the restaurant?
We're serving up more great videos. Just tap or click, hit that subscribe button, and ring that bell to join our notification squad.